Hey, how's it going, everybody? Of course, it is yours truly, Dr. Mike, coming back again with another video today. And of course, if this is your first time watching Dr. Mike TV, I would definitely encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit me up on IG at Dr. Mike from the PH, and definitely make sure you check out the ebooks that are definitely listed in the description below. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it because I have some situations that have been brought to my attention, and they're really good topics that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. And today's topic is selling the dream. Okay, now when we talk about selling the dream, we've discussed this on quite a few occasions, but I'm going to go ahead and make it a video so that we can define what selling the dream is, give it a description, and bring up 3 possible situations in which selling the dream can actually take place. Okay, when we talk about selling the dream, situation number 1, it could be the foreigner selling the dream to the Filipina. It can be the Filipina selling the dream to the foreigner, or it could be the foreigner selling the dream to the foreigner. All right, we're going to get into that relatively briefly in a few moments. But let's talk about selling the dream, namera isa, which means number 1, selling the dream, the foreigner selling the dream to the Filipina. Now, this is one thing that I really have a huge problem with in reference to foreigners coming to the country and selling the dream to Filipinas, because it's basically the act of going above and beyond in order to try to seal the deal with a foreigner or a Filipino woman. Okay, so what foreigners tend to do is they come into the country and they tell Filipino women they love them and they'll be with them forever. They want to have a family, they want to make a baby, they want to bring them to the United States, and they do all of this to create a facade or to create this fake hope so that the Filipino woman will fall for them, and the Filipino women will go for them, and the Filipino women will just go head over heels and give this guy whatever he wants. Basically, give that guy his moment of intimacy that he so desires. And this, not just me, but a bunch of other guys, it really does piss us off when guys come to the country and do that, simply because, of course, we know that Filipino women, as loving as they can be, they can be crazy as hell, but as loving and caring as they can be, they're really quick to fall in love. They're really quick to go head over heels, especially if you're going to sell this dream to them, because this is all they've ever wanted in their life. All they ever wanted was to be taken out of a situation, if it's a negative one. If they come from poor or impoverished families, all they ever think about is getting out of that. And I guess in a sense, they look at the foreigner like, this guy is possibly my way out of a negative, bad situation so that I can get to a place that I've always dreamed of going, because many of them dream of going to other countries such as the United States, UK, places like that. And because they dream of going to these places, they're so willing to eat these words out of the palm of your hand, because that's all they ever wanted in their life, period. And again, this is more so focused on women who come from families that are not so well off. I mean, you may be able to sell the dream to a girl that's from a middle-class family too. Maybe not. That's debatable. But at the end of the day, basically, the foreigner selling the dream to the Filipina is basically saying all of these things that they want the woman to hear so that they can ultimately, like I said, seal the deal. And that's really given us foreigners a bad name when other guys come into the country and these girls have already been screwed over and they've already been in so many different situations where guys have said so many different things to them, and they're just so tired of hearing the same bullshit. And then they tell their friends that foreigner guys ain't bout shit and foreigner guys are just bullshit, none of them are really serious and stuff like that. So it does kind of sort of create a bad vibe or a bad taste in the Filipina's mouth in reference to other foreigners when they've been taken so many different wild rides with, the emotions of the heart and the emotions of the relationship. And it really does put us as people who are genuinely sincere in what we want with the Filipina, it puts us in a bad situation, because, when a Filipina's been tainted and they've had nothing but bad experiences dealing with foreigners, when a good guy actually comes around, that guy don't stand no chance, all right? So, that's kind of situation number 1. And what really pisses us off the most, and I'm not just speaking for myself, I speak for some other foreigners as well, is that is something you just don't have to do in the Philippines. You do not have to sell the dream in order to achieve this goal or something that you consider that you want to get. I mean, a goal that you're trying to accomplished. You don't have to do that. You do better being honest. You do better just telling her, look, I like you, I care about you, I think you're, you know, pretty, I think you're beautiful, and, you know, being honest with them and telling them. You do better being honest and telling them what you want, as opposed to selling the dream, getting them pregnant, bouncing to another island, selling the dream to another girl, and then getting her pregnant, and then bouncing to another island. For what, man? I mean, what is your ultimate accomplishment? Just to leave a bunch of babies in the Philippines? I mean, I don't know what some foreigners are doing it for when it's unnecessary. That's what I'm saying. It's truly and genuinely an unnecessary thing for guys to do, but yet and still they do it. So again, that is selling the dream. Number one, where foreigners try to sell the dream of bringing them, telling a Filipina girl that they'll bring them back to the United States in order to get what they want. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life when you really don't have to do it, but you guys choose to do it anyways. It's an extremely messed up situation. Sliding into situation number two, when the Filipina sells the dream to the foreigner. Now, this is one that we did not talk about quite yet, but, you know, it's kind of relatively easy to understand. In this situation, the Filipina is basically telling the guy that she'll be the type of girl that he needs in her life, that he needs in his life, so that she can possibly do whatever she can to get out of her current situation and get to the United States. But once she gets to the United States, complete 180, complete change, and she just don't want to deal with you. She's probably going to divorce you, marry some other guy, or do whatever. So basically, the Filipina will play her role, do her part, everything that she can to create this facade that she is the perfect Filipina, which we've talked about before. And she'll do all of this in order to get where she needs to go. And then she will no longer be around when you need her. So let's be honest, in this game, man, Filipinas know the game, and they know how to run game. We say that a lot too. So don't think that you're trying to play this girl, you know, and she's not trying to play you back. All right, let's not act like Filipinas are just so gullible and they're just gonna fall for everything that you say, because they will not. Okay, Filipino women are very, very smart. You may try to get on them about some not being as book smart or educational, because some may not be able to afford to go to school, but they're very, very street smart. They know how to survive and they know how to thrive. So let's not overlook that for one particular second. All right, let's not overlook that at all, because you're gonna find yourself being scammed. All right, that's one thing that Filipinas do very well. If you're not careful, they know how to scam you, and they know how to sell the dream. They know how to make you, they know the things to say to foreigners to make themselves look like the absolute best and only thing that that foreigner can get when they come to the Philippines. We've heard the story before. A lot of us are already familiar. Salute to my boy, Black American Expat. He told the story about an Australian guy who met a girl on a 2-day trip to the Philippines, and then he ended up sponsoring her to come visit him in Australia after only being with her for 2 days. Okay, so don't sit here and act like like only foreigners are getting over on Filipino women and Filipino women are not getting over on foreigners. Trust me, you know, when that girl can convince you to send money to the family, when she can convince you to buy her gadgets for herself and buy gadgets for her family or for her little daughter or whoever, her, you know, whatever relative or whatever child she has, if she can convince you to do that, hey man, I gotta chalk that up to the game, and I gotta chalk that up to being smart, and that ain't nothing but an applaud for me. I'm gonna look at it and tell you straight up, man. Hey man, if you can do what they can do it just as good as you can. So don't just think that selling the dream is for foreigners to Filipinas just to make them believe that they're gonna take them to the United States, and they don't. But Filipinas can also sell the dream to the foreigner, putting themselves in a situation where they put it on you heavy. They put it on you heavy. Maybe they give you what you want in the beginning and all of that stuff. Do everything the right way to get what she needs, and then after that, she's gone. All right? So don't overlook that. Don't overlook it at all. All right, now we're going to move on to situation number 3 in reference to selling the dream, where foreigners sell the dream to other foreigners. Now, this one's a little bit interesting, but we're going to go ahead and get into it. A lot of guys who are part of forums and stuff like that, they only want to focus on the best parts about the Philippines. They only want to focus on the best parts about the Filipino women, but they never actually tell them about the negative sides of Filipino women. Now, you know, you see these guys in their YouTube videos and stuff like that, and a lot of guys are just showing how happy and smiley and how happy and good their relationships are, but they never talk about the negative parts of the relationship. Come on now. You're going to sit here and tell me that your relationship with the Filipino woman is happy all the time? Don't lie to us. Just don't lie to me. Don't sit there and lie to everybody else in YouTube and show people only the happy sides of the relationship when being in a relationship with a Filipino woman, because you're lying to your audience, wholeheartedly lying to your audience. So when a foreigner sells the dream to other foreigners, they're basically creating the facade that a relationship with a Filipina is absolutely perfect and nothing will ever go wrong and everything will be perfect. She will cook for you, she will clean for you, she'll take care of everything, and you guys are gonna live a happy fucking life. Really? That's the dream. that's the dream that most guys sell on, you know, their YouTube channels and all of these forums that guys are a part of. If you're a guy and you've never been to the Philippines and all you see is all these happy foreigners in relationships with Filipino women, all you're going to think is, okay, I'm going to have a happy relationship with a Filipina. And when it turns out to be quite the opposite, then what? Then you're scorned and you're pissed and you're making the negative videos about how guys should never date Filipino women, how they should never be in, you know, relationships with Filipinas because you had a bad one. So for those channels that only promote the positive sides of being in a relationship with a Filipina, don't fall for that, okay? Don't fall for that. And for those guys that only talk about the negative parts of being in a relationship with a Filipina, don't fall for that either. You gotta find a common balance. You gotta look at things from multiple perspectives. Ain't gonna always be perfect, but you have to realize that if you can put up with a relationship with this girl more than you can put up with in a relationship with another girl, then you gotta sort of have to draw the line somewhere, and you have to make that decision on your own. Never let somebody else's channel or somebody else's story dictate your own story. Because when you look into all of these other relationships that these guys are having with other women, you cannot sit there and say my relationship is going to be the same. I really get upset when guys compare their relationships with women to other relationships that other guys have with women. Like, I can't sit there and compare my relationship that I have with mine to the relationship that my best friend has with his fiance or his girlfriend. All right, so the comparison of relationships will always be the total opposite. You'll never look at the relationship and say, oh, how come my girl can't be like his girl? All right, never do that. I don't want you guys to do that. And I guess that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the three types of situations that that selling the dream can actually present itself is the foreigner selling the dream to the Filipina, the Filipina selling the dream to the foreigner, and the foreigner selling the dream to other foreigners looking to get into relationships with Filipino women. Of course, this is my time, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mike from Dr. Mike TV. Again, if you are not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit me up on IG, as mentioned in the beginning of the video. Hit the like button, comment down below, and let me know if you've ever been in a situation where you've felt like a Filipino was trying to get you for a little bit more than you were willing to spend, in a sense. If you're Filipina or Filipino, tell me if you've ever seen foreigners trying to sell the dream to other Filipino women. And also, foreigners, if you've ever felt like other foreigners have put together certain videos that you felt were kind of misleading, let me know. I'm very interested to know, and I'm very interested to have the open debate and the conversation with you. As always, it has been my time. My name is Dr. Mike. Again, I wholeheartedly appreciate you watching the video. This is something I do for fun, and I genuinely enjoy it because I have an audience like you. As always, I love you guys. Mahal kita, mabuhay. Peace.